Recording in progress.
Okay. So, I should introduce myself a little bit to everyone, and those on TV land and TV land, and all the formless beings and dakas and dakinis and dharma palas and bodhisattvas and buddhas that are here. I hope I don't let you all down. So, you guys I know, I'm assuming you're not new to this.
I'm a beginner, but I've been studying Dharma for several decades.
Okay. And
me, I guess I've been studying Tibetan Buddhism for a long time.
okay.
Do more Vajrasattva.
Okay. It's good to know my audience, so I know what to say. So, for people that are on Zoom, this is a green Tara practice we're going to do, and my name is Konchog Pema. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time pumping my head up about how wonderful I am, because I'm not all that wonderful. but I've been ordained 8 years, and I've been practicing Buddhism most of my life. I got involved in Zen when I was around 11 or 12 years old. My first teacher was Taisan Shimano. Then I met Swami Satchidananda. It morphed into a little bit of Hindu yogi stuff. I got involved with Mayor Baba for a while. I met Wallace Black Elk when my middle kid was in nursery school, and we became very fast friends for many years. When I first moved to Virginia, I met Geshe Thardo, who was Gelup. I met the Dalai Lama in 1990. I met my root teacher, Khenchen Gyalchen Rinpoche, in the early 80s, I think. And here I am. That's about it.
And where did you meet your teacher? Where did you meet your root teacher? And
Where did I meet my root teacher, Khenchen?
Yeah.
He first came to the University of Virginia in the 80s of some port to do a Green Tara empowerment, ironically. And but I was raising my kids, and it was really quite weird. But my whole life, as Chris can tell you, is like one bizarre story on top of the other. So Wendy and I just went, wow, this is incredible. He's incredible. Wow, this is incredible. But then taking Jasmine to flute practice and Saturn to soccer practice and PTO, and you'll find out soon enough what I'm talking about. It was like there was no time to even think about Dharma with 3 kids. And then one day, years later, I was on a listserv because I used to climb, so I was on some listserv. And head of the Utne Reader, the publisher of Utne Reader, said, "We're doing a bushwhack and we need a 5th guy. Can you come and bushwhack with us on Mount Kokokten? And we'll have a big picnic so your family could come and meet other people, and then..."
Country is
Kokokten's in Maryland.
Oh, it's in Maryland, okay.
And we did, and coming back from the picnic and the climb, the fog set in. I got lost. There was no GPS back then. I was on some mountain road. I had no idea where I was going. And we passed this house with prayer flags outside. So I told Wendy, I'm going to pull in and ask directions. And Wendy said, you can't do that. You don't know these people. What are you doing? You can't just go to some strange house and ask for directions. I said, well, they're Buddhist. She says, well, they may be gay. You don't know. Because they had flags. It could have been gay pride flags or something. I said, so what? Gay? Buddhist? They're not going to kill me. I'll just knock on the door and ask for directions. So I went, and the door was it wasn't closed all the way, the front door. It was just ajar. So I knocked, and the door kind of opened. I said, is anybody home? And I hear this voice from the basement. It said, we're down here. And it was Kenshin. It was Kenshin Rinpoche. Now, what are the odds of that? Yeah. So that sort of sealed the deal for me with him. And then not that long later, I realized he's really the real deal for me. And I took refuge with him. And I've been he's been my root teacher ever since. Him and Garchen Rinpoche are my two go-to teachers.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So that's that. So, people that are online, how many people are on Zoom? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. So I'm just going to go through this practice. And if you guys have any questions at all, let me know. Maybe if you tell them the Dalai Lama's here, maybe more people will come, and then we could trick them later when they see it's me. All right, so before we even get started, because I did bring these wonderful kind of props that will use the props that I brought. That prop. And these props. So, this particular is from Garchen GBI, and it is a balm, B-A-L-M, not B-O-M-B, from Gargon, from the prayer wheels. So it's a blessing. And then these are medicine pills that have been blessed by various teachers. So we'll start with this. And there's nothing in here that's hallucinogenic. Or, if you start to see things that let me know right away, and I realize I gave you the wrong pill. So, I'll say this aloud, but you guys probably already know this. But if somebody's tuning in, they may not know. So there are energy centers we have energy centers that we may not be able to see or recognize by doctors. So if you could imagine, either from Green Tara and or the Buddha, from their forehead is a Om at your forehead, and a white light. As I'm saying this, you could imagine it. A white light from them that we call the Buddhas in. The Buddhas are here. Buddhas are always here, but when we call the Buddhas in our mind, no, not imagine, not think, not suppose, but have complete certainty that when you're calling the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the Dakas, the Dakinis, the Dharmapalas, they're all here. They're here with us. So from their light, from their forehead into your forehead is a white light coming in to your forehead. It's Om. And it's purifying your whole body. So picture that white light comes in and you're being purified. And from their throat is a Ah, red light. And that red light goes into your throat from their throats, purifying your speech. So your whole throat, and it radiates out this red ruby light, purifying everything, especially your speech. And from their heart is a blue hung. And whatever blue comes to mind, it could be sky blue or ultramarine blue or dark blue, Prussian blue, it doesn't matter. Blue hung from their heart to your heart, blue light, purifying your mind. And then furthermore, including this green Tara, little green Tara, from your forehead, Om, Ah, Hum. So we set the tone, right? And even though we're in a Dharma center, in the streets of downtown Santa Cruz, in our minds, we are in a Buddha field. That we are surrounded with light, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Dakas, Dakinis, Dharmapalas. They're in the room with us. We're here, and this is a magnificent palace. And all of us are green Tara for today. Yeah? And we're going to have a magnificent time in our minds and be Tara, become Tara. So I'm going to say a couple of prayers, and we're going to say them together. But I'll get started. I take refuge in the Buddha, the teacher, the Dharma, the teachings, and the Sangha. From now on, I will cultivate the pure motivation to establish those who have been my mothers, all sentient beings, in the state of perfect enlightenment. So let's see, maybe just for the benefit of those that may join us, I know all of us know this and we could probably go to the advanced practice, but my intuition says we should probably go to the beginning practice if you guys don't mind. So if somebody out there is a beginner, we're not going to lose people in the lurch, and I'll try to go through this quickly so that we can spend more time. I'm more into, as much as I talk a lot, into practice than I am babbling on, because I think we all individually learn more from our practice than hearing people talk.
So is this the chapter 4 you handed out?
Yeah, same. This is just the book of what you have. So I'm on page 97.
Okay.
But I'm going to go through it, kind of skim through it. Chen Rezig, we'll talk about him for just a minute, for those who don't know who or what Chen Rezig is, or where Chen Rezig came from, or what my fascination is with all this stuff. One of the amazing things I think about Buddhism, and I again want to just right now apologize for the possibility of insulting people, because I tend to do that without even knowing it. And this, what I'm saying, is just from my research and from what I gathered over the years. Some people hold very tightly to their view, making others wrong or this or that. So I'm just saying this is what I learned. Most religions, including Buddhism, it's not very Pollyanna that there have been wars, there have been kings, mostly kings, there have been politics. Some things that you read may have been exactly the way they say, or they have been exaggerated as time goes on, and it started out to be not that way, but by the time you're getting it, it is that way. Or different kings and rulers have changed the translation to fit their agendas. So it's not just mistranslated that they didn't understand it. They mistranslated because they wanted you to know it the way they wanted you to know it. And as I study Pali and Tibetan and Sanskrit, I notice oftentimes you have just bad translators, and they just meant to get it right, but they got it wrong.
And then the language changes.
And the language changes. It morphs. If you read linguistics, the linguistics of a word changes. So you have to take all that in mind, but you have to be open to the possibility that, I mean, if it enhances your Dharma practice, I say the hell with the history. It doesn't matter. If what you're doing enhances your view of Dharma, wonderful. Saying all that, and many religions grab things from other religions and use them in their religion. It's true in almost every religion that I've studied. So Chen Rezig started out, in my research, well before Buddha ever showed up. And there was, in India, one of the aspects of Shiva was he he wasn't only seen as this fierce destroyer. He was seen as, he had all aspects. Shaivites have all aspects of Shiva, and one of those aspects was the compassionate eyes of the world, Avalokiteshvara. And it was a small cult in India that recognized Shiva in that way. And as time went on, it spread to Buddhism. It morphed over into Buddhism. So Chenrezig became the compassionate one, the one who has great compassion for sentient beings. And he is pretty much the main deity, one of the main deities in Tibetan pantheon is Chenrezig. And there is, like it or not, if you especially study the statues and you study the tankas of Tibet, you'll notice that King Ashoka, I think it was King Ashoka IV, at one point when Buddhism spread throughout India, it was a real threat to the Indian society. Buddha was quite a radical revolutionary, and there was no more need to go to the high caste. The low caste couldn't even go to the high caste to pray. Only the rich, the wealthy can go into the church, the Buddhist the Hindu temples. And so here Buddha's coming, he says, well, we don't really need Buddha. Enlightenment is within you. You don't need to go to a Brahmin priest to find. Well, that was a threat to many. And so for many decades, or hundreds of years, Buddhists were being massacred in India. And King Ashoka IV, I think, I'm not a historian, so you could Google this and find out all the specifics, but at one point, he had these horrible dreams of Bardo beings chasing him down hallways, and he couldn't sleep. And he realized, oh my God, it's the killing these Buddhists. So he built Nalanda. He had all these temples built in India. He turned Buddhism back around, King Ashoka, I think the fourth or third.
Yeah, I forget the number.
Yeah. And so Buddhism came back into India. But if you notice, there is a pride, there is an arrogance that isn't talked about. For instance, if you're doing chakra samvara practice, advanced chakra samvara practice, he's holding a head in his hand, the head of Brahma. Why is he holding the head of Brahma in his hand? So I never got a great answer no matter who I asked. And the truth of the matter is he's holding the head of Brahma. It's like, yeah, we have beat the Hindus. There's this arrogance. When they're standing on the two corpses, one is on the neck of Parvati and one is on the neck or the breast of Parvati and the neck of Shiva. Because we have conquered. So there is politics that carries across into even the Buddhist pantheon. So when I'm doing my practice, I don't want to see that, because it was Brahma that told Buddha to spread the word of Dharma. So why would you cut his head off? So when I see things like that, in my mind, he's holding the four Maras. He's holding the head of your Maras. When he's standing on these corpses, he's standing on your obscurative being. It has nothing to do with, as a matter of fact, well, I'm getting off onto talking about chakra samvara, but Chenrezig, noting he is trying to help sentient beings achieve getting out of our obscurative stuck self, out of samsara. And he's noticing no matter how many sentient beings I can help, it's still full of, I can't empty samsara. No matter how many I can help, I can't empty samsara. So the first time they say his head explodes. So Amitabha Buddha, and we could have a long conversation about how Amitabha came into the fold. Amitabha Buddha helps Chenrezig and says, no, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And he tries again, second time, it's not. He winds up growing thousands of arms with wisdom eyes, pulling people, sentient beings, hungry ghosts, hell beings out of their stuckness. But he sees, I can't do it. And he starts to cry. So out of one eye comes Drikunti. So we discovered Drikunti most likely is the white Tara and the green Tara. One eye came green Tara out of compassion and white Tara. And I was telling last night in my studies, because I don't know a lot of religions. I know Judaism, I know a little bit of Lakota folklore, I know Hinduism, and I know a little Sufism, and I know Tibetan Buddhism. So I'm this weird mishmash of cultures. But in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the Jewish Old Testament, God had a wife. And it's not very noted, but if you read the Old Testament, Legend of the Jewish People by Ginsberg, it's a 5-volume set, you realize God had a wife, and it says in Aramaic, because God created night and day, that's it. And then God didn't know what to do. So he asked his wife, what do I do next? And it actually says in the Aramaic that she says, do I have to tell you everything? So I think that's carried over into modern world where women and their husbands that are just, they don't, the one says, do I have to tell you everything? So in this case with Chenrezig, and he's crying, and these tear of two women come out of his eyes, they go, you really can't do this without a woman's help. You need the help of a woman. If you really want to get this done, it's impossible for you to do it on your own. So Green Tara manifests as the female Buddha of compassion. She's the female Buddha of compassion. And her mantra is a wonderful mantra, which we will get into and say and practice. But in saying that, maybe not to the people in this room, but if you are out there listening, this, even though it's a very simple deity yoga practice, it is a deity yoga practice. And in Tibetan Buddhism, no matter what school of Tibetan Buddhism, the very first thing that we have to pay attention to before we even get into the foundation of any Buddhist practice, even before we even talk about the Four Noble Truths, which is the cornerstone of Buddhism, is the four turnings of the mind. So the four turnings of the mind, we need to think about. Every human being should think about this. But of course some don't believe in reincarnation or karma or samsara or any of that. But we need to take to heart, all people, the very first, if you're practicing Buddhism for the first time, and you say, well, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go. Four turnings of the mind is, first, precious human birth. Precious human birth. You need to stop and think. Your homework, if you want to write it down, you could write these things down. But the very first thing to contemplate deeply on is how precious the human birth is. Now, just being born a human itself doesn't make it precious, because we see there are many people born as a human, they do horrific things. So just having a body of a human doesn't make it precious. What makes it precious is we have the capacity for compassion, we have the capacity for understanding, for harmony, we have the compassion to we can, as a human, practice the Dharma, which will lead you out of samsara. So we have the potential to do a lot as a human being. So that's the first one. Then the second one, that's a nice one, right? Everybody goes, yeah, that's great, I love it. Then it slides downhill from there. But it's true. Everything in the phenomenal world is impermanent. There's nothing that lasts forever except possibly emptiness, which later on when we study the law of dependent arising, you realize, which is basic physics. It really truly is physics, and I encourage you to read all scientific books on physics. You'll see it parallels Tibetan Buddhism pretty closely, and Judaism too. Probably others, but of what I know. When you study Hashem and you study all of not the politics of Judaism, but the mystical parts of Judaism, you will also see it's almost like a rabbi started at the goal line on a football field, and a Tibetan monk started on the other goal line, and they ran into each other, and by the time they crashed at the 50-yard line, the philosophy was almost identical. That's what I discover in my old age. But so there's nothing permanent, even though we see things as trees, and I'm not going to get into talking about the whole law of dependent arising, but there's nothing to be found. It's all energy. It's all dancing atoms and subatomic particles that eventually make up, due to karma and other conditions, matter. So if we start to realize that we are not going to live forever, that death is right around the corner, I know it's not a happy thought, but it's a true thought. And then, in saying that, what is samsara? It's a word that's used a lot, And again, I could give a long talk on all these things, but samsara, getting stuck in the politics of the world. We do have to pay attention. We do want to care. We do cherish each other. And when you can do something in a protest peacefully, or writing your congressman, I'm not saying go in a hole and don't do anything, but realize the limitations of your new car, relationships, attachment to things, the new beer that came out, just watch the news for an hour and you'll be convinced that there is a thing called samsara out there. It's not going to make you happy in the long run. Dharma will make you happy in the long run. And the law of karma. Those are the four turnings of the mind. So that alone you could chew on for a year, just those things. Then you get into the Four Noble Truths. That's the cornerstone of Buddhism. And that they're suffering. Buddha, sort of the popular version of the Four Noble Truths is, people go, oh, I don't understand. Why do you focus on suffering so much? I thought this is about being happy. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't look at your own dookie, you can't really get out of it, You have to really, really be honest and look at the stuff that keeps you angry, the stuff that keeps you stuck, We talk about hell realms, we talked about this the other day, and heaven realms. We ourselves, we know people, and maybe you are one of these people. They're so depressed they want to commit suicide, or they're so jealous, or they're so envious, or they're so arrogant, pompous, exaggerating, lying, deceiving. They're in a hell realm. They don't have to wait to go to die to be in a hell realm. They're in a hell realm. But what happens when you die, according to the Tibetan viewpoint, and I believe this, and there's science, not a lot of science, but there's some science that is starting to back this up. People that have flatlined and come back with stories, and those stories are being collected. There's a teacher at UVA who does research on people that have flatlined, their stories, they came back, and there's a big similarity to cross religions, cross people of what occurs in that state. So if you're extremely depressed now in a body and you die, and you're in what's called the bardo, there's no night, there's no day, there's no clock, there's no body, there's no limiter. Whatever you are going through in your life, they say, multiply that by 64. And that's the state you're in. So if you're very, very depressed, when you die, you're in a hell realm. You're in what seems to be a physical place, just like when you dream in a lucid dream. When you're in that dream, you think, oh, this is real. It's even more so when you pass away. You're in this lucid dream. And when you're in a hellish lucid dream, just like in life, when you're having a bad time and you can't get out of it, you cannot wait for it to end. And it just goes on and on and on. So it feels like eternity. And when we read in the books, they say so many kalpas, thousands of kalpas. That may be true. But in my mind, it feels like so many kalpas in that state of mind because it just goes on. And the corollary is true. When you're happy, when you're content, and you're at a party and everything's going great, before you know it, the night's over. You wished it went on, but it's quick. So they say when you're in Dewa Chen and you're in the heaven realm, it happens like that, really quick. That's just my view. Other people would argue against my view, and I'm not trying to push my view on others, but that's the way I feel about it. So you're doing the Four Noble Truths. The good thing to know is there is a cessation of suffering. The Fourth Noble Truth, there's a path and a cessation. Those are the two. But there's the suffering, he says, the suffering of suffering, which physical suffering, pain, birth, old age, death, wishing things to be the way you want them and they're not the way you want them. Things that you want to be permanent fall apart, right? Things that you wish could fall apart stay longer than you want them to stay. You're attracted to certain things, but you avoid other things. You're drawn to what you like, and you're averted to what you don't like. And the good news is there's a way out of that. And that's the Four Noble Truths. So we need to get to that before we get to even Nundro. And Nundro, so if you haven't hung up the phone and turned off your computer at this point, because you're going, wow, that's too much work already, I really don't want to do all that work, then the next piece of hard work is Nundro. Is going, yeah, this makes sense. What he's saying makes sense. I think I want to take on my suffering and see how I can deal with all my stuff I don't like. Then the Nundro practice, and again, Green Tara or any of the deities is at the very end of the Nundro practice. So the Nundro practice, really quickly, the very beginning is refuge. You think, well, this makes sense. I really want to do this. I like it. It seems to be working for me. I'm meditating. It's helping me a little bit. I think I want to get a little bit more involved. So you take refuge. You surrender to this practice. There is a lineage. You start shopping around for teachers, teachings, practices, something that makes sense to you, because everyone's different. And it's not going to fit you perfectly, but you'll find, I like Zen, and I don't like Tibetan Buddhism. I like Tibetan Buddhism, I don't like Zen. Whatever, it's all fine. Then Tibetan Buddhism, there's Nyingma school, there's Sakya school. And of course, we may not have that luxury. You may be in an area where there's only one school, and that's what you have, and it's fine. So you go, okay, I could adapt to that school of Buddhism. And then you start looking for a teacher that can teach you. So a teacher that can teach you, what are the requirements of a teacher? Because that's very important. Okay, so here we go again. I will say what I feel, and I may get a lot of flack because other people may say something else. But I strongly feel that what I'm about to say. What are the aspects you look for in a teacher? In a Buddhist guru teacher? 1, they have to know what they're talking about. They can't just be making it up on the side, on the fly. They have to have a lineage, an authentic lineage. So that works. I'm not saying, oh, New Age, this and this. It's not. It's fun. It's groovy. Whatever. I have fun there. But, and maybe that's fine for some people, but I think, in my opinion, I'm old school. I'm an old guy from Brooklyn. And I feel, personally, if you're on a trip, traveling somewhere, you want to go somewhere. And I've had this one guy comes up to me. His name's Rick. He said, I hate gurus. I hate authoritarian anything. I hate it. I want to do my own thing. I said, great. Why are you talking to me for? Well, because maybe you could at least point me in the right direction. So I said to him, fine. 3 weeks later, he comes back to me. He said, oh, Pema, I have this heat going up my back. My head is so hot. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? Should I go to a doctor? What's going on? I said, Rick, could be Kundalini, could be Kalabasa. I have no idea. You're on your own thing. You're doing your own thing. I don't know. That's why I know when you're on a map, it's planned out. You want to go the scenic route? You want to go the shortest route? You want to stop and see different things? You want to go to a restaurant? You plan it out. To someone who already has, and now we could go reviews. Oh, this, you could see all the way. I like that restaurant. I didn't like, I'm going to avoid this, I'm going to avoid that. So you know what you're going to do. So I go to teachers that go, I had a teacher, they had a teacher, they had a teacher, pretty similar route, pretty similar situation. I could look at their history, look at people that knew them, and know this is an authentic path that I can practice. And then you try it. But you're not making any commitments as of yet. But once you see a teacher and they're gauging you, you're gauging them, They may say, I don't really want you as a student. Or vice versa, you know. It's also good not to look all that too close. And everyone has their what is acceptable behavior to others is not acceptable to someone else. So you have to look at their behavior and look at them and say, yes, this person, they have some flaws, but I can live with that. I don't know that anyone's going to find the perfect teacher that's completely perfect. You may, but you have to say, yeah, this person can take me to the direction I want to go, and I'm going to go there. You know. And then after you're taking refuge, practice, and you feel, oh yeah, I'm familiar with the lineage, and I have done some prostrations, and they teach you how to do prostrations. You're familiar with, and you're getting along with the community of people that are in that practice, and that's important too, to have a good sangha, to have a good teacher, to have a good relationship with that. Then the teacher, once you have this teacher, they also have to sort of be like your grandma, very kind, very compassionate, very understanding, able to communicate with you. You should be able to speak to them when you need to. You should be able to have, when you're having a problem, you should be able to get a hold of them and they can direct you. You can have tea with them. You can, if your guru is the Dalai Lama, it may be difficult when you're having some issues spiritually to actually call them on the phone and have them talk to you. So having a teacher that's fairly local is important. And in my opinion, eyeball to eyeball as much as possible, not Zoom. You want to see them. You want to see their smile. Look in their eye. Have them put their forehead to your forehead. A lot of teachers say, no, Zoom's good enough. This teacher doesn't need to be famous. They're not looking for lots of money. If you go to the teacher and they go, well, give me your credit card, we'll set you up on the 10-class plan, probably that's not the guy or gal for you. You want someone very genuine that all they care about is Dharma, you, and what's going on with you. So Guru Yoga comes next. Having refuge with that guru comes next. Now you're in the pool up to your chin. You're not in the toes anymore. So now you're committed. They're going to ask you to do certain practices, and now this grandma may turn into a drill sergeant because they're going to have you ping pong and work on your ego and work in a way that may be a little squirrely and squirmish for you because you're looking right at the dookie right in the eye, you know, and that dookie's real sticky. It doesn't want to leave. It really knows, I know how to run this person and I get my way, and this person doesn't, no, I don't want, I love smoking pot or whatever I do. No, I don't want, no, I like avoiding these things or whatever. And so my teacher's teacher used to call it an egodectomy. And so you have to go with that. Then there's purification practices, Vajrasattva practice sometimes, Bodhicitta practice, and now finally we come to Green Tara, deity yoga practice. What is deity yoga practice? Why do we even bother to do deity yoga practice? What does that do for us? So deity yoga practice, most of us, especially in America, we have a very low self-esteem. We don't see ourselves very with great pride. So we start to look, what is the deity? What is the deity? Why do we have the deity? The deity brings to us divine pride. And I don't mean pride in an arrogant sense. We start to purify. we see ourselves in a rainbow body as the deity. And if the deity represents compassion, and for countless years, people have been doing green Tara practice. They've been saying this mantra. So the mantra itself, over this period of time, has built up its own life. You know, I have arguments with a lot of Christians about Jesus, and some people will say, "Oh no, there was even no Jesus. There was never a Moses. They never existed." And that can be argued one way or the other. But what you can't argue is the power of the prayer, the power of the faith. That's what gives Jesus the power. What gives all the deities the power is this culmination of countless, countless beings over the years doing this mantra, having this energy. So the energy itself is almost more powerful. This is just a brass statue. This brass statue is not going to walk over to you and say, "Oh, you're enlightened." But what the statue represents, who it was, who it is, the power of that energy that we see through the statue, coming into the room, coming into our hearts, from all the practitioners who practiced it before, that is what we're drinking. And so we leave this body, in a way, in our minds, over and over. It only gains through our continued, sincere, genuine practice of doing this deity yoga practice, or all the practices. We have a habit, a bad habit, so that bad habit gets changed by a good habit being done over and over again. And the body enjoys, the mind enjoys this bliss from this new practice that we're doing. And the bad practice, it'll still show up like a guest in a hotel, but we still can be the bouncers in that hotel and say, yeah, everyone's welcome here. And if you don't break the place apart, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, we're going to have to escort you out the door. You know, all the bad habits. So that's the conversation about green Tara, I think. I think so. Any questions? Did I leave anything out? I know I skipped off the script, but that's all right. So what I want you guys to do now, before we get started with the mantra and the practice, everyone get up. We're very blessed. We're extremely blessed that my ex-girlfriend found in a garbage can a tanka of green Tara, and we had it carbon dated till the year 1650. You could barely see her, but I have no idea where this has been. But please just in your mind stream feel this thing's been around for a long, long, long time. It has seen many, many Rinpoches. It has been through many temples. It not only has green Tara in it, there's Amitabha Buddha, there's Milarepa, Gampopa, Marpa. All these images are in this tanka. So walk up to it, put your head on it, feel you're gaining the blessings of all these deities that are in this tanka, and then when you have all their good mojo, then we're going to sit down and do the practice. So just please come up and I don't mind you having your head or skin or oil on there because it's so old, I don't. Oops. Okay. Okay. So now we'll start. Do we have enough time to do all the things I want to do? To do the...
You can stay as late as you like.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, then we're not going to leave.
We have a couch in there.
So, 3:19, I think. And we'll say this all together at the same time. And I will try 3:21 is what we're going to be. I'm sorry. All right. We'll start together. Om Swasti, the embodiment of all victorious one's activities, the great mother of the Buddhas of the three times, the supreme object of hope for beings of these degenerate times. I surrender to the Noble One. Please grant that the ordinary and extraordinary achievements, in an appropriate place in front of an image of Tara, perform all offerings that you can arrange. Sit in a comfortable place with a relaxed mind. Establish the mind in the four foundations. Take refuge, cultivate bodhicitta, and engage in deity yoga. And this we'll chant Tibetan once, English once, and then Tibetan. Shog Som Gondo Bagne Zola Zhang Zhou Bardo Dazo Gyab Zuji Drokon Zibeji Zole Gyobjir Zhang Joseph Yidam Barav Gedo. To the assembly of the Bhagavati deities, the embodiment of the Triple Gem, I and others take refuge until enlightenment is achieved. In order to protect all sentient beings from the fears of samsara, I cultivate the two types of bodhicitta. Shogrum Gondo Bhagme Zola Zhangzhou Bardo Dag Zang Gyab Zuji Drogon Si Peji Zole Gyobju Zhangzhou Sem Nidam Barab Gedo. So now when we say this next prayer, what you should be thinking and what we're going to do. This prayer basically is to remind you of the emptiness or the all phenomena is empty of inherent existence. The law of dependent arising. That there's, even though there's a table, even though I have a body, even though I have all these things in the relative sense, in the ultimate sense, it's empty of inherent existence down at the very, very root in the subconscious state. It's just energy dancing all over the place. And at that, there's nothing substantially there. So we say this prayer to remind us of that, and then we meditate for just a minute. Om Shunyata Jnana Bajra Swabhavatmakoham. Now we'll read again in English on page 324. All the phenomena of grasping and fixation dissolve into emptiness. The vast protections manifest from that emptiness. At the center of a lotus and moon disk on a green tom, the nature of my awareness, light radiates and purifies the obscurations of all sentient beings, and then makes offerings to all the Buddhas and returns. I become Tara, with one face and two arms, in the giving mudra, holding a green lotus. My two legs are in the half posture, with a dignified youthful form, green-blue in color, wearing silken robes and a jewel ornaments, radiating light in the Sambhogakaya form. Light manifests in all directions from the three syllables of the three places, bringing all Buddha's wisdom, compassion, and activities which dissolve into me. I become the embodiment of the Sugatas of the three times. All right. So we're going to be doing some offerings. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But I also want you to see what a tom looks like. So if you look on page 103 in the handout that you have, there should be a Tibetan letter tom. It's in black. Your visualization, when they say, I want you to visualize at your heart a green tom, that is what you're going to be looking at, that green tom. Do you have it?
Not yet.
But I could hold it up. You could look
Okay.
if you don't see it. It's right here. Okay. So that's what your visualization is going to be. Just look at it. You don't have to hold it, but I just want you to see what they're talking about. Now we're going to talk about offerings, and I'll show you something. All right. Again, this is coming from mostly Hindu, Tibetan. So the Hindu, they have what's known as a puja. Puja, the belief is they didn't have paved roads then, they had dirt roads. They didn't have great shoes, they had sandals, sometimes no shoes at all. People would come from house to house, especially monks, sadhus, and they'd beg for food. And the view was that you'd never know who is a enlightened being and who isn't. So we see, all beings are enlightened beings when they come to the house. So in this case, we know it's an enlightened being. We're doing for Tara. Not that Tara really needs our blessings, but it opens our hearts up. It's more for us. It's like the gods are not going to go, Buddha's not going to say, well, if I don't do this, I'm not going to be Buddha, I'll be mad at you or whatever. They're happy. It's energy, it's pure energy all the time. It's for our opening our heart. So there's this mudra, I want you to try to do it. It's called the lotus turning mudra. And it's very gentle, and it's like we're just moving our hands like this, and your fingers are like this. So in a puja, the first thing they'll do is give them water to drink. Then they're going to give them, wash their feet, because their feet are dirty. It's a god, they come, we wash their feet. Then after they wash the feet, they have a garland of flowers, they put the garland on them. Then they have incense they burn. And then they offer them lights. Jyoti, Jyoti, Maha Jyoti. So they offer lights. Then they offer perfume, because they may smell a little funky, or maybe they give them a bath, so they give them perfume. And then they give them food. They're hungry, so they feed them. And then they play music for them. So they're playing drums. So as we're doing this, and it's in your book, we're doing the lotus turning mudra, and first we offer them water to drink. So the mudra for water to drink is like this. We're imagining, we're giving them water, they're drinking water. Then we do it padyam. Padyam, we're again turning, we're saying the mantra. It's difficult because I'm asking you to tap your head and your stomach at the same time. I know it's hard at first. So padyam is almost the same, but now we're pouring it down. We're pouring water at their feet. Water's down. We're cleaning their feet. And then after we clean their feet, we have a garland of beautiful flowers, and we do pushpam. So we put flowers on them. And then after pushpam, we burn incense. So we put our fingers up as if they're incense sticks, and we're burning incense to the deity. And then after we burn incense, we do alokam. So we have our thumbs become little lights of flickering candles. So we're offering them candles. And then we're doing, again, we go back to this, and then after candles, we offer them food. I think I got all these right. And then after food, we play music. We play music for them, right? So that's the general. There are hundreds and hundreds of mudras, and they get rather complicated. I'll take a little break just to show you, and for a dyslexic person, this is very difficult. So the mudra for a mandala looks something like this. It's a mandala mudra. If you're putting clothing on them, sometimes they call for rupa. You're putting clothing on them. We're not going to do any of these, but I'm just showing you. So then the goddess of happiness is hasa. So you start from your mouth like you're smiling, hasa. Then there's another one for contentment, lasa. So contentment is down at your hips. It's like this. Then there's one for dancing, like this, like you're moving your hips, like you're dancing. Then there's one, Weene, you're playing guitar, the vina, you're playing guitar. Wamshe, you're playing the flute, right? Then there's another one, what's sparse? No, sparse. Yes, sparse is like a mirror. You're looking in a mirror, so you're doing this. And then Dharma Dhatu, the goddess of Dharma, is like that. I think I got them all. Yeah, I think I got all those. But there's many, many, many. Then sometimes when you're doing abhisheka, where you're getting water in your head, you're getting. So you're imagining the water's just flowing down. It's a cloud over your head, and then the water comes flowing down into you. So there's all these mudras, because we, in Tibetan Buddhism, there are very elaborate pujas, believe me, with lots of tables and lots of stuff and tormas and stuff. But for your Dharma practice every day, it's easy to do a puja with your hands. It takes minutes. You do the whole thing quick, quick, quick. And in your head, you just did the whole puja. And in this practice, we're doing 2 pujas, one in the beginning, one in the end. So we'll go back to the practice. And here, it's in here. I know it's hard to have the book out, and your hands, and you're chanting, but you do the best you can. So the puja goes, Om, we'll do it together, to the best you can. Om Aryatara Parivara Argam Pratitsa Soha. Om Aryatara Parivara Padyam Pratitsa Soha. Om Aryatara Parivara Pushpam Pratitsa Soha. Om Aryatara Parivara Dupam Pratitsa Soha. Om Aryatara Parivara Alokam pratitsa soha. O Mariatarasa parivara gende pratitsa soha. O Mariatarasa parivara nuite pratitsa soha. O Mariatarasa parivara Then we go to praise. So we'll say this in English together. The crowns of gods and demigods pay homage to your lotus feet. You who liberate from the unfavorable conditions, I praise and prostrate to Mother Tara. On a moon disk at the heart level is a tom syllable, surrounded by the mantra, radiating light to all Buddhas, bringing back the blessings.
Dissolve into me.
Which order am I? Did I lose you?
I think you're 329.
Yeah, let's start. All the Buddhas bringing back blessings that dissolve into me, revealing the inseparability of appearance and emptiness, the nature of infinite qualities of Buddhas. Again, infinite light radiates from the mantra and transforms all outer phenomena into Dewa Chen, all beings into Tara's form, all reciting the secret mantra. So now we will do the mantra. We'll do maybe 7 rounds of mantra. If you have mala, I have. If you don't have a mala, I have 2 that I could lend you over here. It's easier to do it with a mala than in your head. Yeah, so just grab one of those 2. All right, good. And we'll start out slow. The important part of a mantra, the important part of saying a mantra, I said this yesterday, this is sort of new information to me. I mean, it's all old, but you don't think about it, and then you go, oh yeah, that's right. You want to get the feeling in your heart. You want this to really be something. It's not a mechanical thing. There are people there going, oh, if I say 300,000 mantras, I'm going to get enlightened or something. There's no one up there counting, it's no one it's not like, oh, I'm enlightened, and Buddha said, no, you really, when you did the thing, you didn't do it right, you got to go back. It's all in your heart, so you want to make it real and devotional. So Gurchen Rinpoche, like a week ago, was talking, and it just resounded in me. It was one of those aha moments, maybe not to you. But he said, when you're alone by yourself doing your Dharma practice, it doesn't matter. People think, oh, I can't do this. It's too embarrassing. Other people are going to hear it. They're going to laugh at me. Or I don't have a good voice. They're going to make fun of me. He said, it's you and the deity. It's you and your practice. It comes down to you. So if you're doing a mantra, like Mani Padme Hung or Tara, by yourself, not with other people, because other people can't keep your cadence. They can't do what you're going to do because you don't even know what you're going to do yet. So your mantra may sound something like this, but you have to have it heartfelt, almost like a Jewish cantor that's chanting for someone who just died. That's the kind of power you want to bring it. Gurchen didn't say that. Of course, I said that, but it's that kind of, So you may say it like this. Om Ani Bedme Hungry, or Om Dare Tu re tu re so. Now, I'm not expecting us all to do that together, but when you're alone, and not to do that over and over again, but to do it until something's clicking in you and you're going, oh yeah, I'm in the groove now. But even then, when we start to say the mantra, we do it slow, really slow, with feeling. And then as you do the second round, it's a little faster. You hear teachers going, Om Mani Om Dari Do Dari Do Re So Om Dari Do Dari Do Re So Om Dari Do Dari Do Re So Om Dari Do Dari. That's fine. Once you're in that zone. When you're in that zone, you could go fast, but don't go so fast it's like you want to still hear the mantra. You want to still hear the vibration. You want to still let that whole energy of Tara come on down and come in. And then just like they say, if we're doing 7 rounds, this is just a suggestion. The first round is for you. You're getting the blessings. Om Tari Tu Tari Tu. You're doing it 108 times. You're letting Tara just fill you. You become Tara. You are the rainbow light of Tara. There's no Joe, Pauline, Sarah. There's no Chris. There's no Cindy. There's not. We are Tara. And the next round, to the hell realms, to all those that are in hell, that we wish transform into Tara. The next round we do is hungry ghosts, people that are they're homeless, they're suffering, they're struggling. We wish for them to have warmth, clothes, food, medicine, shelter. Animals that are fighting, struggling for food, paranoid, we wish them liberation. Humans that we know, humans that we don't know, we wish. We go to politicians, wars, gods, demigods, we wish for them. Then the God realm, we wish for all. So that's 7, us and all 6 realms. We do Tara. Just a suggestion, you could do whatever you want. But we'll do 7 rounds, and then we'll do a meditation. Okay? Here we go. Oh, and we'll say it together. Om Dare Du Re So Ha. 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 Om Dare Du Re Soha. 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 Once more we do offerings like we did earlier in front of Tara. Om Aryata Resa Parevara Argam Pratitsa Soha Om Maryata Rasa Parivara Padyam Pratitsa Soha. Om Maryata Rasa Parivara Pushpam Pratitsa Soha. Om Maryata Rasa Parivara Dupam Pratitsa Soha. Om Maryata Resa Parivara Alokam Pratitsa Soha. Om Maryata Resa Parivara Kende Pratitsa Soha. Om Maryata Rasa Parivara Nvite Pratitsa Soha. Om Maryata Rasa Parivara We read together the praise. The crowns of gods and demigods pay homage to your lotus feet. You who liberate from all unfavorable conditions, I praise and prostrate to Mother Tara. Now the dissolution. So now try to remember what that tom looks like, if you can picture it in your heart. And if somebody has a timer, we'll set it for 15 minutes for meditation once we start. But until then, we'll read. All outer and inner phenomena melt into light and dissolve into me. I also do melt into non-referential, unfabricated Dharma Dhatu, the ultimate clear light of Dharmakaya, the great bliss. All is Mahamudra state, the ordinary mind. So we'll sit. And as you're doing this, you could just listen to me as I walk you into this. So I'll start the meditation. So you're picturing, as we're doing this, the entire phenomenal world we have established, as we said the mantra, all sentient beings are Tara. So the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the Dakas, the Dakinis, all the lineage lamas, all of the people, animals, hell realm beings, hungry ghosts, gods, demigods, humans, all have turned into Tara. They all melt into brilliant light. That light is now absorbed into us. And from the toes, from the head, from the fingers, all that light melts into our heart. It's an orb of brilliant light. And from our heart is the syllable Tam, bright green, brilliant, almost hard to look at. And from the bottom stroke of that green, it melts upwards. And it melts upwards until there's just the flat line of the top of the letter, the crescent, and the bindu. And the light of the straight line is absorbed into the brilliant light. The crescent moon is absorbed into the brilliant light. And now all that's left at our heart level is this teeny dot, the bindu. And the dot gets smaller and smaller. It's the size of the tip of a pin. It gets smaller even. It's very hard to distinguish until it itself also melts into brilliant light. And we are absorbed in that light. If a thought pops into your head, that's fine. Just let it pop. Don't chase it. Don't run after it. Let it go. Anything that comes, let it go. Just relax. We'll do some dedication prayers. Page 335. By this virtue, the virtues accumulated in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate rate, may all mother sentient beings, countless as infinite space, attain the form of Tombaltara, free from rejection and acceptance, the state of great wisdom, liberated from 5 poisons. And then I'll say these prayers. You don't have them in your book. If I could find them. Here they go. Okay. Dorje Chang, Chilopa Naropa Marpa, Lord Gampopa, Pagma Drupa, and Lord Drikumpa. Please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessings of all Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience by defeating all enemies, confusion, and may all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn may it arise, where it is born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama have good health. I pray that the Lama have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri the warrior realized the ultimate state, as is did Samantabhadra, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all merit for all sentient beings. By the blessings of the Buddha, who attained the 3 kayas, by the blessings of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. Holy, glorious, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage Lamas, divine assembly of yidams, dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear our prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by ourselves and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate root of virtue not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras and hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may we benefit all beings through our body, speech, and mind. May the affliction of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in our minds. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May our mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may we become spiritual masters with good qualities equal to that of infinite space. May we gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of our death. May we not die with negative thoughts. May we not die confused by wrong view. May we not experience an untimely death. May we die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May we, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by ourselves and all beings in samsara and nirvana, by the innate root of virtue, may we and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drikumpa Ratnashri, who is omniscient Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, meditation, until the end of samsara. And that, my friends, is it. If there are any questions or concerns, tell me, and I'll make up an answer. We're happy?